Hi everyone, Dr. Eric Kaufman here, and in this tutorial we're going to look at the 7 steps involved in arranging a deal. Now, some of these steps may be in different order from time to time, but generally these are all the steps involved in arranging a deal. So, we're going to look at step 1, finding a buyer, step 2, find a seller, step 3, negotiate a deal, step 4, sign an exclusivity and non-circumvent and commission agreement. Step 5, connect buyer to seller. Step 6, paperwork and shipping. And finally, step 7, settling the payment. So first of all, step 1, find a buyer. Now, after I've decided on a product, the first step I usually do is I find a buyer, mostly so that I don't waste my time. There's no point in selling a product and finding a good supplier, and in the end, you can't find any buyers to buy from you. So first step for me is always to find a buyer. It just helps streamline the process better, and then I can worry about finding a supplier. Generally, you want to have an idea of whether or not there are good suppliers, but you should first find a buyer that's looking to commit before you need to find a supplier and making sure that they have all the varieties of a particular product, especially if you're not sure if anybody's actually going to buy. It's easy to find a non-serious buyer, but it takes patience to find a serious buyer. There are hundreds of non-serious buyers on Alibaba and other related sites. In my experience, 1 in 100 buyers are actually serious, so it takes patience, and you just have to go through a lot of buyers until you find one that is serious. And for more information on finding a buyer, see the Finding a Buyer video we've seen previously. Step 2 is finding a seller or a supplier. This is usually very easy since suppliers are eager to sell. Now, for more information on finding a seller, go to the Finding a Seller or Finding a Supplier video. And always remember to background check both your buyer and your seller. So that's step 2. Step 3 is negotiating a deal. You're going to be talking back and forth between the buyer and seller until you find terms that they can both agree on. Know all of the vocabulary, all of the payment types, and the product very well beforehand so you can negotiate from a position of understanding and of power. See the How to Negotiate video for more information on that. Step 4 is signing an exclusivity and non-circumvent and commission agreement. Agree on a commission percentage and the terms of the payment with the supplier, and sign the documents that give you exclusivity and prevent circumvention of a buyer or seller, meaning that preventing a buyer or seller from going to the other party without using you as a middleman and paying you a commission, and also sign the commission agreement. See the paperwork videos for more information on step 4. Step 5, connect the buyer to the supplier. Once the supplier has sent you the signed commission agreement, you may now put him in touch with the buyer. The buyer and supplier may still use you as a mediator to communicate with one another. Sometimes it's just easier for them to use you as a mediator, and sometimes they like to speak with each other directly. Many deals fall apart at this stage, so don't get your hopes up too high, but at the same time, try to stay optimistic. Many deals fall apart here, and it's all about how many deals you get to this stage. That will determine how many of them will be successful afterwards. A small percentage of deals make it past this stage. However, if the deals are worth the money, then it's worth the time. Step 6 is the paperwork and shipping. If the buyer and supplier get along, they'll perform this step without you and simply settle the payment with you afterwards. So basically, they will perform the following with one another, not necessarily in this particular order, and not necessarily all these steps will be involved. So the seller will provide the buyer with a pro forma invoice. The buyer will submit a purchase order to the seller. The buyer and the seller will sign contracts. The seller will load product onto a ship. The shipping company will provide the seller with a bill of lading. Seller will provide a commercial invoice to the buyer. Seller will provide the buyer with bill of lading in exchange for payment, and the buyer will receive goods and release the rest of the payment. Step 7 is settling the payment. This makes both the buyer and the seller nervous, so it can take time, because usually it is at this step that issues regarding scamming and money issues are brought up. In the case of an LC, or a letter of credit, a bank has already guaranteed the payment if the required documents are presented, and so this generally makes this step much smoother. In other cases, part of the payment may be done in advance or against a bill of lading or against inspection by a third party, while the rest will be paid on arrival of the goods or inspection of the goods at the buyer's port or facility. Finally, after all payments between buyer and supplier are settled, the supplier will wire you your commission or cut you a check. Wire payment is obviously always better because it's trackable and there's no worry about it bouncing. Thank you.